Welcome everybody to NECC week number 6. We've got some brief news for you. Unfortunately, OC versus UND did play without us, so we're going to be finding another game to play. That's going to be at the top of the hour. Stream will stay live, so don't go too far, but we'll see you guys in a little bit after this short break.
that cuts quite like a memory, especially one that you're trying to forget. But I can't find the energy to rewind and reset. Sometimes I lack the bravery, 'cause I know I fear the end. One day we'll see a victory. Carry on until the sun will set. To break me down. How does it feel? How does it feel to knock me around? I won't make a sound. I won't make a sound. Until I hit the ground. I won't make a sound. So don't shoot me down. I'm not broken. We're just getting off the ground. I hope you're better now. I've been in the good times already. You can see it on my face. I know. No more racing. We got it. We could reach it. Yeah, we got it. And you know I'm feeling good like that. So what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you. But what you gonna do? And And you know I'm feeling good like that. So what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? I've been in the good times already. You can see it on my face. I know. No more racing. We got it. We could reach it. Yeah, we got it. Oh, I'm feeling good like that. So what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna wish we stayed the same. I got way too many thoughts in my brain. I got memories that run through my veins. I'm not one to blame, but I could point out every way that you changed. Some things stay up while others go right down the drain. And lately we've been going down in flames. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in nirvana. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in nirvana. But if I'm my therapist is saying that I should. I don't believe her, but I really wish I could. Instead, I guess I'll stay misunderstood. Oh, 'cause I'm stuck now, just trying to figure a way out. I've tried but can't seem to slow down. I don't know if I want to. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in nirvana. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in nirvana. But if I'm can't seem to slow down, and I don't know if I want to. Colder when you're frozen over like I am. It's colder, colder when I'm older, older than I am. And I know you know that I have lost composure, but I'll hold you closer while I can. I never told you that I'm slightly broken, that I might lose focus when I am. I know you know that life gets colder, colder when you're frozen over like I am.
I stand back and I watch you explore in perfect vision, like I've been here before. Falling faster, I try to ignore. I see you, I see you. I'll let you drag me to hell if you hold my hand. Tell me this is real and it will never end. This is not what I came here to find. Memories show that I'm out of time. See a shadow, don't know if it's mine, but I see you, I see you, I see you, I see you, seeing in color. Lost without you, I can't make it through the night. How come I'm not seeing in color? How come I'm not seeing in color? How come I'm not seeing in color? So far gone, I'm caught up, infatuated by our symmetry. It feels like before now, I was only half of me. Thought that I had figured it out, never felt it rationally, but this sense of urgency has me wondering.
Welcome back, everybody, to the National Esports Collegiate Conference, here for week number 6 of our fall regular season action. We've got a game for you. After all of that amazing wait time, we're here for week number 6 of Rainbow Six Siege. My name, Llama77, joined by T-Van up here in the booth today. T-Van, how you doing? Are you excited for today's action?
I'm excited for a video game to be on my screen after a long wait and a lot of just being teased and pulled around of who we could be watching and what matchups we have on the table. I'm just glad that we've got a good game on our hands, especially with some names and faces that I'm very familiar with and excited to watch play the video game Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, we've got Oklahoma versus Akron will be our matchup of the day in a best of 3. But today would not be possible without our sponsors. And we got to give a huge thank you out to Buy Blue Light Glasses. Gamers out there, your eyes take a beating playing games every single day. So you've got to get the most trusted source of blue light protection, the official blue light glassware of NECC. You can order some at buiebluelight.com and order them today. T-Van, we've got our map picks down below. Anything stand out to you?
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, we were going to probably talk about it as we get in as well, but Akron is a very dominant team right now, both in the NECC and also just in Rainbow Six Siege right now as a whole, being the very first collegiate team to advance to a T2 playoffs, just barely in Element 6. And so looking at the map bans being Bank, Consulate, and Lair, these 3 maps that are very macro heavy, very team reliant to be able to just create space on the map, I am absolutely terrified for Oklahoma. Akron is a very solid Bank team, and they're obviously going to eviscerate on Consulate. And if we get to Lair, they are going to pick you apart in the dark corners that Lair has to offer.
You talked about Akron, and their record says it for themselves. They're 5-0 so far in this fall season. Oklahoma not as lucky. The Sooners 1-4. Their only win comes to center state rivals in Oklahoma Christian. So maybe they can use that power that they won on the map, take it towards this series right here. But for them, it's going to be a long day unless they can get outgoing. And you said it, Bank. It's a large map. It's got some chances to showcase your macro. Maybe the Sooners can come out swinging, take this map number 1, and bring us the full distance.
Yeah, the thing about Bank that I'm really going to be looking at is the amount of precision that the new strategies in Bank are providing us. Obviously, we know a lot about the very default basement takes and server side takes with certain shield operators, but ever since the new introduction to the ban system and also the release of Roara, we've actually been seeing a lot of different strategies both in the basement and also in the second floor CEO take. And both of them take a lot of precision and a lot of teamwork and making sure that all the pieces are set together before something can really happen. That's something that Akron is actually phenomenal at compared to a lot of other rosters, is having that precision and having that structure, making sure that everything is set up properly before making the execute happen. That's what's necessary on Bank, and that's why I think that they're going to absolutely thrive on it.
And you talked about pretty much similar for Consulate. They've been showed in the past that they love this map. They're very good on it, and even better on layers. So the question is going to be where Oklahoma wins. And it feels like maybe you're catching Akron at a later time at night, especially for the East Coast. Maybe you can catch them a little bit with their pants down. But this first map is going to decide a lot of things and shift where the momentum is going to go. The problem for Oklahoma in their losses, they've been wide margins, so a lot of 0-7s, a lot of losses very quickly, and that doesn't help you build momentum. You're going to need to build a lot of rounds early, or else it could get out of hand quickly.
Yeah, I think if I was the coach of Oklahoma, the way that I'm talking to my players and strategizing against Akron is getting active in the mid round and the early round. Like you said, in terms of pace, not just within the round as a grand scheme, but within each micro round, set Akron off. They love to take time to set up. They want to structure themselves. If you start moving around and put the aggression to them and honestly play a very ranked style gameplay, they're going to be thrown off and they're not going to be able to be fully set up for a hit. And if you catch them right on a 3-2-1, that's exactly where they fumble, and that might be where their pants are lying down.
Catch them with some of those early round shenanigans, and I think that they still have the players to get it done. I think for Oklahoma, you look at a Division I team that, even though they've had those wider spread losses, you go to their one win against Oklahoma Christian. They actually won the first map 7-0 and then were able to win in overtime in the second map. So they have that ability that they've shown before to come back from a couple of deficits, and I think that's important as well. When you're down, not losing the mentality and saying, we're playing 5-0 Akron, the day is over, you still have to fight through those mid rounds to earn every single kill.
Yeah, it's Rainbow Six Siege at the end of the day. I have seen some crazy upsets, both in collegiate and also higher and higher up. We even see it in Tier 1, right? This is why we like to watch the video game as well as watching sports as a whole as well. Upsets happen all the time, so I wouldn't be super doom and gloom about Oklahoma. You know, maybe somebody on Oklahoma just pops off once, it starts dropping 20, be able to get Bank going through. I think Bank also has a lot of avenues of outplaying. There's a couple run-outs that you can do, even spawn peeking top square, or getting a run-out towards ATMs on the rappels towards windows. You know, there's some avenue of outplay and maneuverability if you need some individual skill, because to be honest, I don't know if a 5v5 is ever going to beat Akron.
Yeah, I mean, their macro is just so good. The way they take space, the way they build up in rounds. I mean, you talked about it. They showed it just last weekend at the Butler LAN. They've showed it all throughout Tier 2 as well, and they've even showed it here throughout the fall regular season. But I think it's interesting for Oklahoma that it kind of relieves the pressure a little bit. There's nothing really on their shoulders that says you have to perform to this level, you have to do this or that. Whereas Akron, I mean, you're expected to win this series, right? You're expected to go undefeated here in Division 1. So I think for Oklahoma, that means you can try new things, that you can experiment through some of those pathways you talked about. Maybe go for some of those runouts and trust your gunplay a little bit more.
And I think that one other thing about Akron's most recent success that is actually going to be a fault for them is the fact that there is a lot of VOD and recordings on how they play, specifically in map to map, but also just as a team. I personally have casted Akron multiple times on Bank in the most recent settings, and so you can easily go to those streams, watch the way that Akron is playing, and be able to form plans around that if you desperately want this win. But like you said, they also don't have the pressure. There's no stakes on their shoulders if you're a Hoosier. So, you know, that's kind of where most comebacks come from, is the lack of the need and necessity for that win. Instead, you can kind of relax, chill, maybe play some Maroon 5 in your headphones, jam out, get some frags, and piece together some rounds.
You mentioned Maroon 5. What's your playlist looking like if you're hopping into a ranked match?
I'm putting playphone on, or payphone, excuse me, not playphone. Payphone on, maybe some Animals, maybe Maps. Maps is usually a good one. I actually used to have this like 2010s white girl club music playlist that I'd listen to on game day. And I feel like that might be the secret sauce against a team like Akron.
Always got to find the vibes as we're headed into the pick a band phase here. Starting out with Oklahoma and Akron. They'll both get to select one of their bands early on. And no super surprise, Warden for the extra shielding and Ace for some of that destructibility are taken off the cards.
The Warden band is actually quite interesting to me. it's gonna, for me, it screams already that Oklahoma wants to start making some pop plays happen.
Yeah.
Things with like Ying, maybe some smoke plays, maybe even blitz. To me, that's what that is screaming, and I totally understand why. That's something that a lot of people are starting to go through with server side takes. And I was also going to bring up the popularity increase of Glaz, and Akron is going to read right into that. Something that we have also been seeing in Bank is this split between either you're banning shields or you ban both of the ranged hard breaches for second floor takes. Akron being forced to only take out one of the ranged breaches of being ace in order to ban Glaz as a read against Oklahoma strats, which I think is absolutely on the nail.
And I think on the other end, Mirror is a pretty classic ban, but you talk about that Warden just wanting to generate some team fights here. We'll have to see as we're headed into round number 1. OU starting out on the attacking side. Akron, they'll be starting out on their defensive side. So it is a best of 3, so lots of time to play in this one. Again, Bank, Consulate, and Lair are your 3 maps for today's contest.
So far, we're probably going to be seeing a very standard basement hold. The only thing that you might be worried about if you're an Akron fan is going to be preventing the diffuser to go down if it is going to look like a server side take. They have gadgets like the Goyo canisters and the smoke grenades. However, because those are kind of the standard issue go-to server holds, there's going to be a lot of strategies around it. Most of the time, people will bring Twitch, like we see Talion right now, to pop some of these early Goyo canisters. And then most of the time, you'll see a lot of smokes actually be playing closer to blue stairs in terms of wasting time and contesting square, and then you lose those toxic babes immediately. Oklahoma, with the Monty, already showing that server side take is what they want, but with taking damage like that, it's going to be a little scary.
Especially on Jenkins, your early shield entry, so Oklahoma gets the brunt of that damage as they start heading up with some vision lines. Silo, you've got a really nice left-sided angle here that cuts off just so much space. For the Sooners, you have to navigate this pretty interestingly. You've got the Thermite to break into some different areas, but so far not a ton of space gain, but I like the information they're working with.
So far, Jenkins is trying and desperately pleading for his team to catch up with him towards server, but no one is around. They don't have blue stairs control. It's just a flurry of kills going all for Akron.
Nice nade, though, from Zave to at least get something back. Oklahoma's going to walk right into the sightline of Plexios, who's found a double kill, bringing Oklahoma back to just 1 member. They realistically know where you're coming from. A nice weapon to get it done with the scope, but with that chunking of damage, this round is almost sealed already. Akron just so well holding, and it's not the fact that they win single fights, it's the fact that they always find ways to get double kills.
It was a weird swarm to blue stairs from Oklahoma as if they thought it was fully clear. However, it was Plex from server catching up with his teammate to fill in where Silo left off, and now Aimkey is in the exact same spot, ready to take the last kill from Oklahoma.
Doomer, one more chance to try and fight their way out of it. Nate is gonna lay it, but not before the headshot does. Aimkey lays one in the grave, and Akron has found their first round.
This is going to be the difference that we see a lot this series, is the difference of steps needing to be taken. Sometimes in these lower division games, you might be able to get away with showing yourself towards dirt and just assuming that you're going to be able to get blue stairs control without checking any other boxes. However, Akron is too good of a team to do that. Instead, you need to take over top square control before you can even look at blue stairs. You need to get auxiliary pressure and surround one spot. We saw Oklahoma skip those steps, and they immediately bit the bullet because of it. And from there, they just had no space to play with. A 1v3 is just always going to be a freebie for Akron.
You know how to team fight, and their macro already finding some success. So 1-0 in favor of the Zips, and they're going to go with a nice defense setup from Castle. And on the other side, switching in towards Lion and the Dokkaebi can give you a lot of mid-round information. It's just going to be the factor of, can you find ways to breach through these stairs?
The clash is going to be the biggest point of contention for me, in my eyes. If you're an Oklahoma fan, you need to watch how they deal with clash. There's a lot of different theories that some players have. Some say, okay, I'll just use some utility and dump it onto the clash. A lot of people prefer Zofia for that. And then there's other teams and players that prefer just trying to isolate all the other members around Clash, leaving Clash to be the final member of the defensive squad and being able to swarm her in a 1v4. Oklahoma this go around though seems to be going for that latter option due to the Osa pick. To me, that's going to be showing a lot of window play. They want to be playing on the repels and gathering information, trying to isolate members around, as well as playing closer to top square with Thermite opening that top square breach.
CCE Shield does a really good job to gather some intel, at least for Akron. Watching that walkout. Some nice control of that lower floor, though, and Jenkins, especially in a position like that, if you can time it correctly here, the nade could be timed correctly as well. Akron's got to be a bit careful. A lot of overhead and under control right now for the Sooners. They look for some sort of entry angle from the roof.
Yeah, they're really desperately wanting this kill on Clash. This is exactly what happens. The frag grenade actually blows up the shield, takes down Plex, and Silo is taken as well. This is great space for Oklahoma. A great start to something I thought was impossible.
And they've already got the information to get them working. So 3 players down on the Akron side, and NECC is going to take a little bit more damage, but Zave has got another headshot. Akron unable to drop a single member of the Sooners here in this round. Leaves it all down to AIMKey, who is stuck alone and takes down one. Tally, the first to fall. Is it enough to get the clutch factor is going to be the question.
This is LeBron. Many people are referring to AIMKey as the current LeBron of Siege. Taking some damage, however, in the flurry of bullets of Oklahoma is eventually going to take him down. A very smart play from Oklahoma, to be honest. At first, you saw Akron think that they read Oklahoma. Oh, they're just going to do a stock-sided take.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to put a lot of our defense there. But instead, Oklahoma was, as you were saying, starting to creep some people down below, starting to play other angles and pinch Akron around, playing these weird, non-formidable spots, and totally caught them off guard and got them a free round.
And it was lovely. I mean, a dual-sided push is always going to be fun to watch, especially when you get one of those mid-tier bomb sites. For Akron, though, we'll see what they adapt to here. And I think most importantly for this team is going to be just finding again that teamwork. They're a team that has a lot of good solo players, but if you're relying on only AIMKey to try and clutch up the round and you're not helping out strategizing around those single player positions, it can make those rounds fall off quick as Oklahoma's tied things up.
Something that was also very strange from the structure of Akron's last round that is honestly uncharacteristic of them as a team is how disconnected they were. Plexios was on an island in stock. They also reinforced the stock wall, which usually is left a little bit soft. And so Plexios was just left all alone, no shield once the frag was blown up, and there's also no weapon behind him. This go around, as we're defending open area, they need to stick together. You're gonna be seeing a cobweb, a spider web around the site rather than the site itself to try to trap these attackers, catch them on the exteriors, and play from top down. Especially with things like the Maestro cameras and the wubs of Malusi, they're gonna try and force Oklahoma to fight for every single inch of space.
Definitely don't hate it, especially with the Cade to back it all up. But a break in coming. Oklahoma secured a little bit of space. Nade through is nice, and Space has just found all of their namesake. Jenkins dies to a headshot. The follow-up from Silo not quite there as Tally earns the refrag onto Space. A huge 1-for-1 earned by Oklahoma.
And I will take that kill every single day of the week if I'm Akron. You're Malusi. You've already put down all of your utility. Those no more death marks for Deimos, which is absolutely vital to take over open area like this. You need to try and get that information, find where the exterior players are, but without that information now, you're either looking with drones, which are going to be shot down from Maestro cameras, or just using your body or Osa shields to try and desperately find those spaces. But this is Akron. They're going to be very good about that.
Ace is there, and a 1v1 may be coming for Zave. Launches the nade and forces out a faraway position. Should know there's just one player here now after that clearance. Silo clearing the close angle, and Zave is just run up on. Loses half of the HP bar on the initial engagement. And then we'll look for the right-sided angle. Quick spray, it's a pre-fire, but a 1-for-1. And the canister popped on the other side, and Zosa has found their way into the killing feed as well. 3v2 here, and a self-nade! Oh, that one hurts.
I think he was trying to nade a Cade Claw off the wall or something, and his teammate was on the drone. Just some sort of miscommunication there is absolutely brutal, especially when you're on a horizontal playing field like Akron was begging them to be on. Usually you see a lot of vertical play on open area. You take control of underneath, but specifically above, take over stock, take over big table, play top down. Instead, Oklahoma was trying to just sneak through double door, try to get the big wall open, and Akron said, okay, come on in. We've got smoke shotgun, we've got Maestro cams to play off of, and we've got Plexios with a DMR to shut you all down. And they had zero option after that.
Just trying to play off each other, and it really didn't work. Akron split those battle lines really well and have now found themselves up 2-1. We've got the extra bands coming in. Here it's going to be the Thermite, which I think is pretty exciting. You get more of that entrance denial. So for Akron, once again, with just a heavy setup defensive composition and a good bounce back round after that shocker in round 2.
I'm a little worried about Oklahoma choosing Smoke as their band instead of anything else like a Kaid or even the Tubarão, because Smoke, yeah, the shotgun's very deadly, but the utility of the Toxic Babe can easily be replaced by a Tachanka, which we now see Koza on. So it kind of feels like a nothing ban because it's just being immediately replaced by something that just does the exact same job. And yeah, you might not have the shotgun, but I don't really feel like that shotgun was doing all that much in comparison to the other ways that these rounds are being lost by playing a little bit further, playing a little bit slower, getting more information. That is what we need to be targeting rather than just eliminating a Mossberg.
We'll see how it works out. We'll deny at least one character selection for Akron. See what they want to do. Early shield coming. It's also the interesting Finka coming out from Oklahoma, wanting to try and get an extra little bit of punch towards this attacking side, and send out an extra little bit of intel gathering before they go up dirt. They've got the diffuser, but they have taken a little bit of chip damage early on.
I'm really worried for Oklahoma. This is exactly the same attack that we saw in the first round, and immediately deja vu is happening again. The shield is the first to go down. Silo again is picking them apart from top blue, and once again it is a man deficit for Oklahoma. Oh, it's even worse.
Oh, Silo is just on a tear. Give him the double kill. Jenkins is going to try and run through, but they don't check their backside. They finally will get the server shots, but Space finds the trade. Teammates having their back. It's a flawless round 4 from Akron.
It's just mismanagement. It's mistimed from everyone. A flurry of smoke grenades going down towards server, and no eyesight for where the Tachanka is hiding behind the very large tower of computers. I was just barely saying it. You're doing the exact same game plan as round 1, except this time you have less space to control. You're going through 2 doorways instead of even looking at top square. Maybe even going through the front door anywhere else. Last time they had one person going through marble side to kind of contest open area, which would have maybe drawn a little attention of Akron to make that attack just that bit easier. But this go around just gave Akron the round.
That means now they're up by 2. They've got a great setup as well. They've gone away from a little bit more aggression on the defense to putting up castle walls and laying down frost welcome mats. And getting set up here on the top floor. It'll be quite interesting to see how Oklahoma is going to engage on this one. And really, I think it's going to be interesting how they work around their own shielding, because it feels like Akron, every single time they engage them, they get behind their own shield line, and there's no chance for them to play a front to back.
Something that's also interesting this go around is they're doing the exact same stock setup with Clash and reinforcing the close walls to the window, which to me is going to be telling me that Clash is going to be playing in stock once again. So the question for me now is, how is Akron going to change up their strat compared to last round where they left Plexios on an island? It seems this go around they're adding Kosa to the lineup, playing him in slant with a shield, and having frost mats underneath the window to further reinforce Plexios' position, because again, last round Oklahoma really only attacked stock, and it was the only round that they won, so obviously very successful.
I'll gather some extra intel from the early droning. think the point is definitely valid. And for NECC, once again, they're got a tougher test for themselves to see if they can, once again, battle through all that Oklahoma's going to throw at them. For Zaven Crew, they've already got the windows broken open. It's a nice sight line, but unfortunately, all of that is just going to be traded away. Once again, the Clash guards them from that shielding, and going reverse to try and get it. Jenkins has a shield of their own, but is not in a safe spot.
Yeah, they need to be careful about which steps they take towards stock, because there are those frost mats. They attempted to use the frag grenades to eliminate them, but if you get stock control, you still have to deal with slant, and you still got to deal with big table, and they're realizing that right now as they start to contest towards top square. They need someone to flank up Spiral. They need someone on windows towards CEO, something else rather than this one-dimensional attack that they're showing right now.
Where do they look here with just 80 seconds to go? Kosa earns one on a headshot, and NECC's got another. All of a sudden, Akron has generated so much, and unfortunately for Zave, you can't leave this spot anymore. And it's all down to one. Tally will be the final one left as Kosa slays another. Tally's got a shielded in front of them, and Plexios will just be the janitor. Akron, another clean round.
Yeah, you start to run out of utility once you can test slant there. You have all your frag grenades go to the frost maps that are in stock, and you don't have any more Zofia charges to be able to eliminate that shield close to slant. So what are you supposed to do at that point? You're just staring at an electric shield. You're staring at somebody that's going to be able to play that pixel peek. Somebody needs to start to play other angles. You need to start investigating the tertiary part of the attack. The primary and secondary, they're being set up, but without a tertiary, Akron is able to just look at two directions or even just one direction and stay there for the rest of the round.
Terrace just isn't enough control to really get any sort of angles on what is inside of that conference hall. So Akron wins another round, again, only dropping that second round of this map. We'll have to see where Oklahoma wants to go, as they will swap a couple things up, but their composition has mostly been the same. Funny enough, they've been kind of lobbing operators between different players to try and see what works.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you just got to start playing a little bit less structured and a little bit more flimsy as a team. The structure is not working. The strats that we're providing, maybe something's missing. Just start trying to frag out. Start trying to get that magic that you found on round one, which really was the personality and the play, the individual perspective of these attackers. Find these gaps. Try to play a little bit more with information and isolate the 1v1s, because there are some 1v1s offered by Akron. They do separate themselves a decent amount. This is still a flawed team. They aren't perfect by all means. So there are options. You just got to do your homework before you even look at the site.
Gotta make sure you're prepped even before you hit the classroom here if you're Oklahoma. Akron so far already taking them to school. Jenkins, that is a worse for wear trade, taking them below the halfway marker. Kosa gonna get some extra sprays there too, and with the files to guard them, Silo's got another. I mean, the wraparound is just insane. Silo has found a double kill, and Akron is in such a good spot in this round.
Oh, and this is exactly what it feels like to show up to a lecture having not done the reading beforehand. You're entering the building having no idea where anyone is. You think Tellers is open, you think Square is open, but surprise, there's Silo ready to make your day worse for wear, and Akron just played the extremities, played the web. You lure them into the spot that you want them to be, and that's exactly where you'll be slaughtered.
Silo just being a dog, and Akron finding their way to win the half 5-1 on the steps of a really good map number 1 victory. Of course, it is a best of 3, so Oklahoma not done if this map doesn't go their way. Consulate awaits them as a guarantee, and Lair as the finale if necessary. But like you said, they've got to play a little bit untraditional, and with the defensive side, sometimes that could be tough.
Yeah, you know, around this time, Llama, we would start to have a little bit of a narrative of, oh, well, you know, it's X map. You know, these are the statistics of, you know, who wins on defense versus attack. Unfortunately for Bank, it's kind of 50-50. This map is a 4-2, maybe a 3-3 half for the attack. And so when you're only getting one round, you're making the scoreline look like we're playing on Skyscraper or even Consulate, which we will be seeing next. you're a little bit worried for a team like Oklahoma. But I will say Bank is one of the few maps where the defenders actually have a lot of agency in the way that they can play. There's some set sites where you can kind of have one or two players towards the second or first floor having a field day, playing with the attackers as they attack the site itself. So there is still some hope. I think we'll be seeing that a little bit with potentially Boomer Doom on the Goyo, placing those Goyo canisters and then investigating maybe closer to ATMs or closer to top square. But it's just up to Oklahoma if they can execute upon that.
It's also interesting, I think, the choices with the smoke and the mute as well. You have a lot of vision line blockage, but it just feels like Deimos, Dokkaebi, and was going to be the Ash, but just running straight at your face. So Akron very good about the macro game, but especially if you show one weak point on this map, they're going to be able to exploit it. And especially on this site specifically, there are a lot of holes that if you're not getting out, getting coverage on other places, it can quickly collapse.
Well, Llama, this is one of the most toxic server takes that you can do right now on Bank, is you set up sends walls to cut off all of red, and then you jump in from the hatch. You're using the Deimos to make sure that you have first floor control. You get those hatches, and then you pop every game possible. Every Dokkaebi flash is being thrown. Twitch smokes and the sends walls completely discombobulate the site itself, and then get the plant down, get the hell out of Dodge, and play DMRs post-plant. It is just abusive against a defense like Oklahoma if they can get it set up properly.
Stairway look from space. Let's see if it goes. No. Zave, a nuclear kill onto the Deimos. That is going to be a round affecting for sure. A slight punch of a hole for Kosa. Doesn't find anything on the trade. And as the teller's angles opens up here from the attacking side of Akron, it's going to be a question of where they want to go now with without all that Deimos information. Excuse me.
Yeah, Deimos did his job, however. Being able to clear the vert and make sure that that is possible. Aimkey just really wanting to make this blue stairs fight as difficult for him as possible, taking himself to 1 HP, so a Mossberg, even from the opposite side of the map, could probably take him down. A little bit of a handicap from him, which a gentleman's agreement, as the Maestro of Oklahoma did take a decent amount of damage as well. It's very nice of him to do, very pleasant. It's good to see players out there being nice like that.
Still has the Twitch drone ready to go. He's going to layer it down low, but still hasn't found a player or any sort of utility, so we'll go back to that camera, but running out of time here is Akron down to the final minute with still no players down on the other side. Jumping shot doesn't go, Silo does, and takes down Echo. All of a sudden into a 4v4, and some damage down low could cause them problems as Howie is ready to fight.
Ings pop, the drop for the diffuser for Kosa, but Silo, the secondary attack, is caught out from Jenkins. Boomer's able to get aggressive and gets two. It's up to Plex. And a post-plant 1v4 here, but has Jenkins trying to reflank. Plex is able to get the kill, but with the defuse going down, he gets one more, but it's just too many men on the side of Oklahoma, so they finally pick up their first round since round 2.
Dave is going to go down to the fire, but it'll still be good for the diffuser, so I love the way the patience was encountered there from Oklahoma, saying, we know you're going to drop down. Sure, we'll let you get the diffuser down, but we're going to retake with an absolute force of players. The crossfire, the work together, everything was there, and they've gotten themselves a huge second round.
I also think it was a bit sloppy there from Akron. Silo specifically dying so early in the post plant needed to take a little bit more time. If he just waited 2-3 more seconds on that hit and then be a stab in the back, that's the point of precision that we talk about on Bank. You need to get those exact timings down. You need to make sure that your position is like a snake in the grass sometimes. However, Akron obviously failing to meet those ends, not getting that round. It's not the end of the world. They have a lot of cushioning, 5 rounds in their pocket. So my curiosity though is how deep in their pockets are they going to go in this map? Because with this second floor, they've shown, I've seen them do some really crazy opportunities and crazy plays. I'm just like, how crazy are we going today?
Let's find out. Round number 8 here, and interesting, we've got a Fenrir pick for Oklahoma, so maybe a little bit more of that roaming potential. Give themselves some of that agency that you mentioned. Fight back against Akron here in the early rounds. It's going to be a takedown early, though, from Jenkins to get themselves back into a safer position. Castle wall coming down right on the edge of the railing.
Double shield from Akron with the glass as well. Going to be swarming probably closer to Janny and slant. Maybe a front side take most likely. Maybe one closer to Spiral as a late flank. However, Akron is a team that also likes to take their time and play on the exterior and see what kind of freebies that the other team will give them. However, so far Oklahoma's doing a good job of playing close to their chest.
Had themselves just basically the Fenrir with that square angle to reveal themselves just a little bit, but it's going to be a team kill. NECC making it easy for the other side,
What,
and then
man?
Kosa steps on back. Why not? Make it a 4v4. There's a nice takedown on the utility as well, and it is just a madhouse. Plexios enters out of nowhere, kicks down the door, and takes down Neko via pistol.
Well, it's going to be even worse as Tally gets Plexia somehow on that kill. Jenkins now was investigating around, forced to look at a site well abandoned, picking up his teammate covered in his own blood. NECC in space, already on their post plant positions. These mailbox spots, especially from space, not being ran out on, but NECC is starting to feel the pressure.
2v2 coming. Oh, the health bars are just so shimmering. Space finds a way to nab it out of the sky, and Jenkins is already down. Tally has just a smidgen of HP to work with, and with the long angles that glass provides you, you've got to rush in now. Time already down to 10 seconds, and NECC just finding kills on both teams in this round.
It's just so silly from Akron, man. NECC, I think, was trying to spam either long desk angle through a smoke. I don't know if he saw ahead or if he was just pre-firing, but at the same time as when, I believe it was Silo going through, rappelling in, just unfortunate timing as the glass shot binged right into his head. However, that discombobulation from Akron is exactly what their win con was. While the front side, window side, is where all the noise is, Blitz from the other side with Plex is actually the real stab that Akron needs for it to be successful, because while you're dealing with dodging angles in the smokes from the glass, you have a big flashy shield coming from the stock side, marble side, that is just going to pinch you in, make you like a sandwich, and they're going to eat you right up.
T-Van, you're telling me that that was a tactical team kill is what I'm hearing.
Did the round win? Did they win the round? You know,
That is true.
that's what you gotta ask. In the VOD review, if he, you know, gets flamed by the coach while we're looking at film, it's like, hey, did we win the round, coach? Yes, we did. That's all that matters. Let's go next.
And next we go. I mean, Akron here, they're on map point, trying to close out Bang. Consulate on the close horizon layer, if necessary, for a map number 3, and our best of 3 here today. Akron, once again, they're going to go heavy, but this time with a little bit of close range power. They've got the ace, they've also got the buck. That skeleton key can deliver some huge angles, especially in a tight map like Bang.
Yeah, I think they're going to be setting the buck underneath the site and discombobulate Oklahoma in a different way this go around. You're probably going to be seeing people like Kosa on the same windows as we saw Silo on previously, but this go around they want NECC to support the stock side push. That's the main primary part of this tack is, and that's exactly where the striker frag grenades are going to be going to take Tally out of that stock spot.
Slant open up just a little bit as well. Still lots of time left to go, 2 minutes and some change, but I like the buck on that kind of rotary position. Get some access to really charge through, and once again, Silo playing on the shield will gather some intel and trade it away to the rest of the Akron team. Through and finally getting that destruction. Fenrir eating them alive with the nightmares over the brain. Akron's got a lot of space here, though. If they get this crunch, the site could be lost immediately.
I was about to bring up the fact that the real nightmare of Fenrir is that he's playing towards first floor, trying to find aim key, shutting down LeBron, and they do just that. However, the topside players are all being picked apart. Space is able to get Neko. And now the two players towards first floor are trying to flood back to site, and they're able to pick up one. However, they are still far away. Only 2 staircases in their possibility to go up. Plant going down. Leaving them to go post-plant positions once again like we saw last round. We gotta see Oklahoma push back or we're going right to map 2.
They get in, get out. It's the strategy known every time. See what Zave could do on full health and just blind it away. Silo finds it off the pistol. The trade away from the shield is good. And Doomer, boom. Boomer Doom is ready to go here with the shotgun. I was trying to look long range across the coffee table, but it goes no good. The Ohio team reigns superior in map number 1, and their pistol shooting is just as good.
Akron just absolutely dominant, showing Oklahoma why they are the big dogs here, not just in the NECC, but a name to be revered across the community. Silo as the MVP, a multifaceted player, dropping double digits in only 9 rounds. Absolutely phenomenal performance from Akron, showing off their fundamentals and individual skill on Oklahoma's own map pick, which is quite terrifying if you are a resident of Oklahoma.
Yeah, and it means that Consulate has a chance to be a sweeping fashion for Akron. Of course, they've never dropped a series in NECC so far this fall season, and I really like the way they were able to adapt. Even though they had some blunders here and there, they dropped those 2 rounds. The way they were able to shift mid-round, get those diffuser plants down, was just beautiful that they were able to work off. So, and I think even if we go to layer, Akron has some strong points there too as well. But we're going to take a short break before we head off to map number 2 here at the NECC. Don't go too far. We'll be right back after.
I had figured it out, nothing could get through to me, but this kind of chemistry has me wondering. When you're not around it, all goes black and white. How come I'm not seeing in color? Lost without you, I can't make it through the night. How come I'm not seeing in color?
Welcome back, everybody, here at the NECC for week number 6 of our fall regular season action. Hope you're doing good. It's Rainbow Six Siege Day here with Llama and T-Van. And T-Van, it's been a pretty good series, but Akron found a way to bounce back in that map number 1 for a victory.
Yeah, it looked like it could be close after round 2 went the way of Oklahoma. However, Akron just put dominance back onto the scene as they swept through their defensive side and then shut down the attack pretty early on. One thing about Oklahoma, however, is I hear that they might have been investing in some snacks on the side, something that was made in Wisconsin, goes great with gaming. I don't know, Wenzel's Farm, legendary Wisconsin meat sticks since 1977, 14 mouthwatering flavors. Meet your heart out. Wenzel's Farm, legendary Wisconsin meat sticks since 1977. Those are live comms from their coach that I actually stole in my headset right back to you guys. And if we see a huge bounce back onto Consulate, we know exactly why.
Yeah, so we're saying if you just go pick up some Wenzel's Farm extra meat sticks for yourself, and then your gaming sessions will just get better and better and better all throughout the days. But this series getting better and better as we're headed to Consulate. An interesting map overall, but I think we were kind of talking about it in map number 1. This is Akron's map pick for a reason. It is one of their strongest maps all the way through and through. Their earlier bans suggested that they wanted to go here, and if they win this one, it's a best-of-3 series. The series is over.
Yeah, Consulate is a massive map, and this is why I'm a little worried for Oklahoma going into it, actually, is some of the big flaws we saw in Oklahoma's attacks are going to be absolutely picked apart from Akron this go-around. And those flaws were the fact that they weren't able to investigate the big picture. They skipped a lot of steps towards the exterior. They just kind of went to the site itself or the things right around the site. But on Consulate, if you're going to be attacking the basement, you have to clear the 3rd floor. There's always going to be something sneaking up there, either top yellow, closer to the pixel, or teller stairs, things like that. Or if you're going 3rd floor, you got to clear the horizontal extremities and then start to close in. Oklahoma, you can't skip dotting your I's or crossing your T's, or else everything just looks like one lowercase L.
And I think as well, it's going to be tougher for Oklahoma because they do need to spread out just a little bit more. They can't just pile in Caterpillar one player after another to try and enter into those sites. So, of course, Oklahoma does need to win this map if they want to stay alive in the series for a chance at a victory. But Akron would love to limit that and give themselves an early night. Let's head into Operator Pick and Ban for map number 2.
Yeah, and I will say something else is on the table that I actually didn't really bring up earlier, but I probably should have. This is very deep investigative journalism that I'm doing here that I get to bring to NECC. Actually, earlier today, I was playing a different video game called Valorant, and I actually, this is a true story. This is not a joke. I ran into Akron Silo, who is currently playing. We faced each other in a ranked game. And I said, "Are you excited for your game tonight in NECC?" And he went, "Yes, however, I'd rather be playing Valorant." So the stakes for Akron are quite high, as some of the players on that team would rather literally be playing other titles than the title they're playing right now. Those are the driving factors that can bring you to win in rock and roll.
Yeah, well, what was the result of that match for our viewers at home?
He dropped a nuke on me, but I one-tapped him in the first round. I actually won. I clutched a 1v3 against him, and I may have shot his body. But
okay.
I would actually no, I'd never do that because I would get fined.
Yeah, professional caster, professional player here. So off into map number 2, gonna be an interesting one, and some of the players not only talking about the meat sticks that they are able to consume, but also some Greek yogurt and cheeseburgers. So definitely fueled up and ready to go for map number 2. Akron starting on their attacking side, while Oklahoma will start on the defensive side.
Really good comms in the game chat, and also as our producer just said in our ear, Silo did talk about the fact that he beat me in Twitch chat. So you have both sources. I'm not going to talk about my performance that game either. I will say, though, Silo, he's quite a good player at both Valorant and Rainbow Six Siege. However, I did not die as I was rappelling into Bank 2nd floor when I was playing Blackbeard. So, there's levels to this.
There is levels to the map of Consulate, so we'll have to see how Akron does engage it this time around. You gotta be interested in how it's gonna go around because Warden is available this map, so the chance to be able to garner some extra shields for Oklahoma, be able to take some of those extra fights on the extremities, is entirely there. However, for Akron, they have got a ton of utility to force you out of those isolated corner positions.
Interesting play there from Plexios as he sent down one of his Sen's walls and then immediately threw a frag grenade, which then immediately broke the same Sen shields that he broke down, but it's actually a gunfight towards Printer that it goes straight to the side of Oklahoma.
Ready back off a headshot. Plexios is going to go for the entry here on the window side. Diffuser gained 2 minutes to go in a 4-4 scrum. And up the stairs, Jenkins is going to walk to give himself a little bit more angles, you could say, and try and cut this one into a crossfire. Space, the information they've gained is already almost insurmountable. I mean, they've gained position of now 3 players.
You need to get... Oh my god. Well, I was going to talk about you needing to get single wall open for the side of Akron. However, with Silo getting taken down, that does leave a lot less options for you. This kill from Zosa, though, could be absolutely round winning. He finds it, which looks just easy pickings.
Nobody checks behind him. The classic trope, space on the headshot. Makes into a 3v2. The crossway works for Plexios. And all of a sudden, Akron, in a scenario that didn't start too great, Tally's got nothing, and Space has got everything. The aimer locks in another as Akron takes first blood in this map.
I did not think that Akron would win that round. I'm not going to lie. The fact that they were just a little bit one-dimensional on their admin side take, they were going band for band with each defender and going even worried me. However, that Kosa flank down Spiral was absolutely needed in a great kill to get that refrag going and the momentum back in. The thing about Siege that is starting to be figured out on the higher level is the third and secondary attacks, the late flanks, the late plays during the stalemate that is that primary front line. And Akron is a team that will always find those spots, just like Kosa did towards Spyro.
Huge flank, a huge round win. And Akron, again, this is their map pick, so we'll have to see if they can earn themselves another sweep. So many of them on the season already. 5-0, undefeated. They have made a name for themselves. Oklahoma, though, still going for this Warden look, but it's going to be changed up quite a bit. They are going to go with the opportunity of Legion to try and rip some of the health bars before they actually fight their opponents.
The biggest question mark for me this go-round, though, Llama, is this Caviera in this pocket of Jenkins. Because if this was a defense on the basement, I could totally see it. You want to hide towards the second floor, maybe get a late flank towards Yellow, or even Spiral, reflank there somewhere, something a little bit more vertical. However, Akron doesn't really take second floor that vertically. They prefer to start off horizontally through admin or even taking pressure towards Yellow. The only option that he really has that could be absolutely devastating is a run out, which it looks like he's prepped for closer to main. It's all about timing and audio from Akron to give to him.
Pulling out the pistol on the run is Jenkins, seeing if they can grab a connection for that interrogation. It is going to be bomb site located. An early nade is going to be dropped as well from Kosa. Has that sledgehammer ready to go. Some extra destructions coming through, and Akron is really just slowly closing in on this position.
Yeah, they're just getting all the space that they really want with zero contest from Oklahoma, and that's kind of what you get when you have 3 players of your squad just not even near the site. One of the only squad mates, actually, that's both. The only people on site are now dead. It's a flurry back to site, but they have full control of every single angle.
Space just might be him. The double kill, still yet to have a death here in this server in 2 rounds. Silo's gonna get another one to Necro. Or Necco, and a knife. That one feels bad to end off the round. A dagger to the heart, and Akron's up 2.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea from Oklahoma. I think what they're trying to do is play underneath, kind of give Akron the site and have your win condition be nitros from below and impacts from below and just play kind of fishing. You see that on split sites of Consulate, having a pulse underneath. However, when you just kind of give Akron the default win that is admin side, they're just going to take it and run with it. They have protocols to go elsewhere if they meet resistance, but if their default strat of swinging into admin, taking over printer is just free, they're going to take that space and run with it. And you saw Space literally run with it as he just kept moving forward through the default site and just get freebie after freebie.
This one is going into the basement, though, as we'll get to see where Oklahoma wants to set up. A lot different of a change. You mentioned a kind of stick out from that last build is going to not be there. Going for extra coverage, going for Goyo. On the other side, it is a lot of heavy hitting, and I think what I'm most concerned about is the long angles that especially are provided to you by Glass.
Yeah, I think we're going to be seeing on the main breach, Plexios and Silo looking like, you know, a dynamic duo, getting the little Maverick holes, making a serrated cheese on that main breach wall, and allowing Glass to peek through and try to get some freebies, while at the same time, not just doing it for the kills, but also allowing AimKey to get some of those Selma charges off and get space. But instead, AimKey is actually like already in basement server side, so is Space. And also Tally just took 1 billion damage from his own Nitro.
Not the ideal start for Oklahoma, and I think they'll try and fight their way out of this one. Extra holes punctured through. Plexios, as you mentioned, just putting a bit of Swiss cheese there. We'll see if they can eat well. Opportunity from Silo on the early lurk from Glass. Won't be able to find anything, but boy, still 2 minutes left to go. That is so much time to assault this site. And it feels like Akron is just playing with house money. Tally takes down Kosa. An early takedown is going to be really nice.
See a late flank towards emergency. However, the fight is still happening closer to server. Silo now popping his first smoke, trying to see if any freebies given from Oklahoma, but instead it's AimKey getting some freebies and Silo taking some damage from the Goyo. But actually, the win condition of front side is not really an option. It's forcing Plexios to be pulled towards server, trying to go through Teller and catch up with the space that AimKey's got.
Tally still resible. On the long lurk, hits the headshot, will earn the finish kill. AimKey goes crazy, and Silo's got one on the lurk. Their winning strategy of just be better has found its way into the server. 3-on-1. Safe's got the first, but can't find the second. AimKey goes nuclear.
Akron is just so good, man. It's just unfair sometimes the way that they are so precise on their timings. It's just little fundamentals like what we just saw with as soon as AimKey leaps into action, Silo is immediately there swinging right off the same timing. Because instinctively, as a player of Rainbow, if you hear gunfire from the other side of the map, you're going to mentally think about, oh, where is that happening? And maybe even look over. And at the same time, you're getting flanked by the Glass, who you are holding that whole time. It's a split-second decision that is absolutely phenomenal. And it's just those little details that Akron does to build and build and build those leads and slowly convert those into rounds, maps, and series.
Oklahoma going to call a timeout here, and a much-needed one. Down 3-0, the Azami, that final ban that we saw heading into the fourth round. I think Akron, super smart. I mean, you talk about such an open map of Consulate, you take that Azami off the board. Now, all of a sudden, you can't create those creative angles. You can't fight them on different terms. Akron are already up 3-0. They've already guaranteed themselves a tied half, and they look good enough that, boy, if Oklahoma doesn't build up something strong in this timeout, it could easily be 5-1 or 6-0.
And, you know, not to be even more doomer gloomer, Consulate is one of the most defensive-sided maps in the pool currently. I think the only one that beats it out is Skyscraper. I mentioned this earlier on Bank. So having 3 rounds as the attack, you've kind of already done your due diligence. You've submitted your taxes, and now you're just waiting for your tax returns to come in once you swap sides. But, you know, while you're here, you might as well try and pick up these next 3 rounds, and Akron is very much capable of doing that. Again, what I would love to see from Oklahoma, and this is what we talked about on Bank, is start to be proactive. Start to just take the fight to Akron. Stop being scared on these angles. Try to kind of find little jabs back, maybe ones that don't get kills, but things that fight for space a little bit more. I like that they're trying to be creative, but sometimes creativity distracts from just gunplay.
That's what they need now more than ever. Down 3 after the timeout, Oklahoma will dip into the Fenrir to try and, again, get some of that mobility, get some of that confidence back in the kid. You also got the Legion there as well, so we'll see what Akron wants to do with a heavy-hitting Thatcher composition along with the Thermite. I mean, they have just, again, so much utility to break things open, and Aim Key is going to be the one in the glass, which I think might be the scariest thing.
Yeah, and the fuse from Silo as well to just cause even more disruption and just genuine destruction. The fact that Ace is put down forces Akron to go for just a standard Thermite Thatcher response, and usually it's going to be paired with fuse as well, so there is just zero option to even try to bandit trick at all. Instead, the bandit is going to be taking damage from explosives and from bullets, but instead it's Plexios that takes the permanent damage.
Won't open this wall, though. Jenkins going to take down a second. Already on a double kill here in this round. How many more can they get? Spray is good. Space finds none! Are you kidding me? Finally gets the finish, but not before Boomer Doom finds the third kill of the round. Inside goes Aim Key, and we've got a 2v2 with a player down. Save that Fenrir. If you could get them back up, it'd be doable! And Tally finds a massive kill. All of a sudden, it's down, it's cut, and Jenkins earns a 3K.
What a wild round. A roller coaster of emotions there at first. Akron had a great response of being able to get that breach open. They tried to kind of do just a full rush as if you're 4th and 1, 4th and inches, trying to get your last touchdown to push to overtime. However, it was just a little too fast. The overwatch of the Glass was not quite set up for Plexios to sneak in and get the diffuser. As he sprinted in, he was actually caught by the yellow pillar player that just immediately swatted him down, forcing Space to get active. He hopped up, whiffed 3 potential kills. 3. 1 down but not out, the other 2 being 1 HP. Immediately him being taken down, and at the same time, the real tragedy in the end was Kosa trying so desperately to get that late kill onto Jenkins, but being spotted by the beeper. And so then there was no surprise. Instead, it was all telegraphed and all into the lap of Oklahoma.
As you mentioned before, I mean, this Akron team, although it sometimes seems not like it, but they are human. And those mistakes do happen, and if you're Oklahoma, you've got to take advantage of that and use that to roll forward, to try and get at least a 3-3 half. To secure yourself some sort of chance on the attacking side to bring this one to map number 3. And you know what? I don't hate it. You bring the Oryx, you bring the Legion, you bring a lot of these tools that could make that happen.
Yeah, again, it's, similar to what we just saw in that last round. Kind of force Akron to make mistakes, start to play faster. However, Akron is going to be doing a very famous strat if you ever watched Consulate. It is finding the Amaru, zipping her up into CEO, and trying to get, oh my, well, you know, I was going to describe the take that was going to happen, but also with that death, what am I watching, man?
The early trades, the early life here, late at night in the Eastern time zone. Still 2 minutes and change left to go. Tally's gonna find a massive headshot. Space goes down, and I mean, that's a lot of your opener. Salo finds another. It's getting crazy as Salo's position is good. Zaves is better. 3v2 with the Nitro in hand. Plexios not actually inside.
He tries to, but he knows that everyone in all of his support is dead. That DC could be critical, however, Plexios still hasn't really gotten to be able to be active. Part of that swing onto the Tubarão, not even staring at him, not hearing anything, is vital. Key and Plex down the first floor could support with a Candela up the hatch and allow Plexios to get the 1-for-1 with the shotgun. And with a minute 30 remaining, they do have a lot of time to make this precise.
It is still a 2v1, and you feel like for Aim Key, the health isn't phenomenal. Plexios has that chance to grapple on in. Camera seen. Boomer Doom has to get this done all themselves. Diffuser is down, and Aim Key's got the watch at their back. So a really good crossfire crunch, and Akron's back online.
again, I was gonna describe the fact that it's an Amaru take CEO sneak the plant. You're using candelas and smokes in through that single window to follow Amaru in and just get the bomb down. Play underneath with Deimos and Buck to try to secure that plant and also allow them to not defuse. However, I think Akron is kind of just rounding corners on every lap. They're just getting sloppy with their strats. They're playing a little bit too fast, mostly those two players underneath. And once the third player, that last sting in the back, the Grim going up top of Yellow, which I believe was Silo, once he was picked off, it forced Plex to really slow down and be like, wait a minute, hold on, guys. Let's chill. Let's wait a second. Let's make sure that we get this round and don't just throw it away. Kind of playing like the dad at a playground, like, whoa, let's not climb on those monkey bars. Let's head back home before it gets too dark and secure a round. And we do, as you saw, get a little bit of a tech pause as there was a game crash, which allows them to also breathe a little bit, Llama.
Yeah, I mean, this is a chance for Oklahoma to really talk it over. And honestly, going back to that kind of metaphor of like the kid on the playground who's clearly just throwing themselves into a dangerous situation, that kid is Space, who is just all holds bar, rushing into sight, sending themselves. It has worked most rounds, but the round they lost, it kind of set up the team for failure. And especially on this Deimos, you need to get value if you're going to pick it. So Akron, it's worked out for round wins, but it is something you could critique for future.
Yeah, it's hard to critique it because also, like, Siege is such an emotional game. It's something that I bring up whenever I cast any collegiate game, but specifically Siege. It's so precise and mechanical, and if you're really feeling your aim, you sometimes just gotta let them float. Especially if you are the IGL of Akron like Plexios is, sometimes you just gotta tell somebody to go kill. Normally for Akron, it's aim key. You just say, aim key, go kill. Hey, you're unleashed, I'm taking your collar off, have some fun. But sometimes if you start to lose rounds because of it, that's when you start to ring the collar back around the neck and kind of pull back a little bit and have him walk with you. Though, so far, Oklahoma hasn't pushed back just enough. But when Silo dies like that, you might have to rethink your thoughts.
We're going to send Jenkins outdoors with the clash. A couple of shots to the back as they jump back through the window. So Akron will definitely have to rethink this one. Especially with the Twitch, though, can really play this mid-round. Gather the extra bit of utility, and then send in with their information overlord. And Aimkey is going to find one via headshot onto the Wamai. So the early lurker is down, but the rest of the players, including the Clash, well, as I said it, the Clash goes down. Plexios finds the second kill for Akron.
Yeah, they're just extended too far. They're committing to that roam for too long. But speaking of extended, all the players are first floor just dead. Tally left alone on the second floor, but actually in a winnable position as Aimkey and Kosa are pretty split up. A one bullet to Aimkey's any piece of the body could easily be the win, but as they link back up, Aimkey has dropped down. 1v1 here.
Kosa hasn't been the superstar today, but we'll have to step up. Kosa is going to take down their own teammate, make sure the res isn't available. But just a little sight hole is all that they will give their opponent. Tally swings it first, and they're going to drop below half, but Tally wins it! Through the wall, through the fireworks, Oklahoma wins the round.
What a phenomenal nade from Kosa to make sure that LeBron is out of the round and bring Oklahoma to 2. I mean, you can kind of tell just the spirits that are in Akron's side just by the way that they're all chatting, just having some fun, saying GG's because of that round loss. I mean, if I'm on Akron's side, I am laughing and giggling from that. It's, what is that now? 2 team kills with a frag grenade. First Oklahoma on bank, and now Kosa killing Aimkey. Like, you just can't make it up.
And I think for Oklahoma, you're not like super thrilled about that round, but it is a round win, so
Hey, a round's a round.
Still within grabbing distance, you could say. Down by 2, as we'll swap those sides up here. Oklahoma, what have you got on your attacking side? And One of those shields going to be banned away in the clash. I also like the takeout of the Mira. There's a lot of really intricate angles if you put up those mirrors on the wall that really can give you some issues. So, see what Oklahoma wants to do.
Yeah, Mira is just absolutely destructive on Consulate, and also because of the development of Mira tricking with certain hard breachers, denying aces and thermites, you know, it's been kind of a staple ban throughout every single level of play. Honestly, ever since the new ban, even before the ban phase was changed with Siege X, Mira has always just been that staple. Oklahoma earlier was hovering 2 shields, and instead of doing 2 shields, they are now showing 2 + 2 = 4 if that fuse is holding a shield, which they could choose to do with the Finca around it. And you know, usually the counter to shields is nitro cells, and I only count 2 nitro cells for Akron, and 2 is not more than 4.
It's true.
So, if my math is working, I think Oklahoma could just play man-to-man contact like it's, you know, like a football defense.
Man-to-man, that's the call on this one. For Akron, it's going to be really interesting to see, even though you talk about the lack of nitro cells. Really information gained on that one, the heartbeat sensor finding it, and Percosa, shotgun at close range, cutting away save. There goes one. How does your man-to-man work now as the shields enter through, level-headed, and still one outside? It's going to be interesting for Boomer Doom. I think Akron is starting to realize what they're up against.
Yeah, if it wasn't the visual, it is the audio of these heavy pieces of metal clunking around. Jenkins still doesn't spot space underneath the desk, however, and the Monty unfolds, which is right for his time to strike, but he misses. Jenkins hears it. He runs out with his life, but the other side, Oklahoma, is swarming them.
Echo getting slowly ticked down there by the Goyo, and down to just one more tick, and that'll be it for Oklahoma. And much needed round here in round number 7, trailing by 2. Finally located those bomb sites and ready to go here. Unfortunately, they've got to face against the shotgun of Kosa. He's gonna wrap their way around the corner. Nobody checks! Oh, it's a devastating mistake as Kosa evens up the tally 3-3. And now all of a sudden, Oklahoma is stranded. A chance for Akron to blow up this round.
Well, not only is the man count tally evened up, Tally of Oklahoma is still very active in a great crossfire, but loses the 1v1 against Plex, forcing Jenkins off of the plant, and now it's a pistol of Monty and the Blackbeard gun versus 3 members of Akron, and I'm not a big fan of those odds if I'm an Oklahoma fan.
Lexios just goes crazy as well. I mean, that is a lot of very key patience from Akron to hold that crossfire for so long and not let it break. Now Oklahoma, in a round that at some point felt winnable, it now means Akron is just 2 away from not only securing the map, but the series as well.
Again, it's just little details from Akron that make them so great. It's the little fundamentals of, even though maybe they're kind of messing around, sometimes a grenade kill will happen. When they hear shields, they kind of go into formation like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, just immediately, all right, team, form up, Operation Crossfire, and then they go to 3 different corners of the map, and so you have to look at one, but you're giving your back to 2 others. It's just perfect, and it's kind of like watching a art happen as they flow around the attack of Oklahoma. And it seems Oklahoma might be leaking strategies, asking them if they want to see it again. Me personally, I do. I think it would be fun, especially on a basement take. Make it a little bit more claustrophobic for the defenders of Akron.
It would be fun, but I think they're going to ruin our fun here and not quite go for it. They're going to put Jenkins on the ram to destroy up some of those floorboards. And like you mentioned, that horizontal gameplay, go from top to bottom, be able to attack from a couple different angles. And it's already going to be safe. Just dead. Bye-bye. Space is released off the leash and earns first blood.
That is just such a mean run out, especially with the 2-brow DMR. The new meta of Siege ever since this most recent season. Removing all the ACOGs except for the DMRs in specifically Aruni and 2brow's hands, so you kind of just give your main fragger the DMR, And yeah, I mean, Tuberau does have a use with his utility, but also it's just such a beastly gun. Getting a pickoff like that on the gridlock allows a lot of space for NECC to play with in the first floor.
Question is going to be, what do they do about these Ram floorboards all opened up? Akron, again, just such a decisive round in the last one, has put themselves 2 away. I like the long range that they have, and Jenkins being able to destroy some barbed wire feels nice. And we'll drop a little bit of extra droning to garner some information that there's a player hiding very, very close. Flash goes out, Jenkins goes in, and the takedown coming from Silo. Again, the crossfire looks just too good. Oklahoma, they're down to 3.
I like the idea. Flash, Plexios on the shotgun angle and trying to get the kill, try to get the Spiral player out. If it wasn't for the team flash, it would be that crossfire of Silo in space holding the cross. And again, no one on Oklahoma is giving anyone else of Akron a pull or a need to look elsewhere. Akron is reading each and every assault as it goes down.
Conversion on 2 from space, and Silo and Boomer Doom has to do it all. Not the longest range, but has the scope to do it. The health bar is abysmal with about 70 seconds left to go. Question now being, where do you look first? Left, right, you're closed in on either side. There's a second. Boomer Doom thinks it's doable and will start rotating in. But as they do, they're going to get crunched to the close left side. That is no good. So they decide to destroy a camera and play it a little bit slower. Still with 50 seconds. One shot could take them down, or one shot could take them down. A 3-kill streak already for Boomer Doom.
Boomer Doom popping the UAV, which is going to be actually the drone that he left alive, trying to find where Plexios is. Again, the difficulty about this is the fact that Plexios has a Mossberg if he chooses to use it. SMG-11, however, out. Knowing that Boomer Doom, very low HP, but what are we doing? Oh, Plexios, we cannot be caught on a corner like that, especially with a red ping. A 1v3. This is probably the best map of Collegiate we've ever seen in our lives.
I mean, that is just insane. The versatility to do it on that amount of health as well. They don't choose to close in. They all choose to take isolated 1v1s. And, well, you saw it just happen. It backfires quite a bit. For Oklahoma, they'll take any rounds they can get. A similar sort of round sense to that second round they won, where there's the self-nade from Akron. They're kind of just shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah. To be honest, like, I would love to analyze that more. However, it's mostly, we're just trolling a little bit too much. Akron just giving away so many freebies, but Oklahoma doing a great job of punishing those mistakes. I will say and commend them, that server side space that they got very fast and easy was decently flawless. It was just once they hit the wall that was closer to into break and into spiral, that's when things kind of broke a little bit and started to get a little flustered. This go around on the center site, we're going to be seeing a lot of vert. You see, usually a lot of people like to go underneath with nitro cells as their win condition, but Akron this go around wants to play second and first itself.
Yeah, Ram could ruin those plans depending on where Oklahoma chooses to attack from. And Akron, another big round for them. It has felt they've been so close towards this map and series victory for a short while, but this round really could change everything. More bans on the horizon as well, so it'll be interesting to see how those spice things up. Verneco will up their way in on an upside down angle, the rappel going good, and this is a good little duo push in tandem with Tally.
Yeah, that's exactly what you need from Oklahoma. Kind of pair up, try to find these exterior players, take some space, but also allow gaps to be seen by drones. I like to usually see in the early round 2 squads of 2 with the 5th member on drones, investigating what the movement is like from the defense as a response. And so far, it's a lot of movement of space continuing to contest towards admin.
Space is going to have to rotate out, though, as that early utility dump. Nade and flash combo come one after another, but a lot of time has already been expended in this round. Only about half of it left. Finally deciding to go through the window is Jenkins, who leads the charge, the spearhead of it all, and Space Quite can't get that kill on the right-sided look. For Silo and the rest of the crew, lots of reloads happening across the map, and as they do, Oklahoma's starting to rip through some of these outside angles.
The space is good so far for Oklahoma, but do they have enough economy of their utility to continue that push to go through? Gridlock has a couple stingers, but there goes the Selma charges. You no longer have hard breaches. You don't have flashbangs in the side of Ram or Buck. It's now just going to be man-to-man contact as they try to get second floor. But with only a minute remaining, this feels absolutely impossible. You don't have space near the site. You don't have space above the site. You just don't have any damn space.
It's lockdown defense, and Silo's gonna show him who's boss. A headshot sends it down to a 5v1. It ends up flawless as Kosa gets the final one as a back shot.
Well, you know, final round here for Akron.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Akron looking phenomenal going into their match point. I mean, just dominant. That last round, it just felt like they just had no sort of avenue into above the site or anything like that. As I don't know. Like, you use all of your utility going into admin. You get admin, and then you're like, well, guys, we got the checkers. Well, and then you file into single doorways and just kind of die. There really wasn't any sort of step or plan after that, and it was just a massacre, to be honest.
Attackers need to locate.
And now that means an even bigger point to the massacre is Akron is a single round victory away from taking the series. Oklahoma's going to have to do a lot here in these next couple rounds to keep it alive, and I think unfortunately they just really not only don't have the selection because of these extra bands coming through with the range, but also they just haven't been able to play together well enough. That dual system, as soon as they get in, they spread out and take those 1v1s, and it feels like for Akron, they know the map like the back of their hand. They're ready to go in those close angles, and especially in that last round, it felt like Oklahoma was a little bit rushed. They only had a minute left to go when they attempted their execute.
5 seconds remaining.
One unfortunate thing right now with this most recent operation is we're actually the spectate drone part of the UI actually is broken. It doesn't accurately show how many drones are alive versus shot out. I would love to see the way that Oklahoma has really been droning. I mean, obviously we see it on our screen right now, but it feels like they're droning in the drone phase. They have an idea of how to kind of get their first foot into the door. But past that, they aren't saving any drones in the mid-round. Akron obviously is a great team to hunt these drones down, but you need to start hiding them or keeping some in reserve to make a mid-round play, or else you're going to freeze like they've been doing every single attacking round. And now, in your potentially final round, Jenkins is already dead, and Kosa might have an opportunity for 2 more.
Just chilling. A lower set of opportune stares is definitely there, and for Plexios and the rest of the team, they can watch as the map unfolds in front of them. From high to low, they've got a ton of good angles. Tally's going to try and wrap around a spiral and redirects their position. Early nade, Space has a ton of their namesake, and would catch one on the low lurk. No way. Stalemate in the country roads, and there goes Tally. Kosa's got a double already in the round.
Yeah, and that wasn't even the main target that Akron wanted to kill, but you'll take a kill, right? 3 versus 5 now, and they're trying to do a top-down take, but Kosa is like a shark in the water, biting at their feet every step they go. They have to check their backs. Is he going to go up spiral? Is he going to go up emergency stairs like he might just do right here? You just never know with this guy.
Always a flexible fish to swim through different tanks here. And right now, the tank is running out of water for the Oklahoma attack. Akron has seared them so far, down 2 players. Zave has got a really good angle, but it's the Nitro Cell that takes down another. And Aim Key is on fire. Zave will spot one outdoors, but it doesn't matter. Flawless as Akron takes the series in 2.
Oklahoma looking to try and get creative, try to switch something out as a desperate plea to get at least some sort of equalization in the round count. However, Akron is a team that will hold on to their structure, hold on to their defense, and continue to push back against the Oklahoma attack, and will do it in such a dominant victory that we won't even have to see Lair. We won't even have to see even close to overtime, just full sweep from Akron, and they'll prove themselves with a flawless 6-0 record after week 6.
It's got to feel good. I mean, leading Division One right now across both of our two groups, and for Oklahoma, I think the rounds that they were able to win, you credit them with a lot of their 1v1 potential, but also Akron, a few of those rounds, shooting themselves in the foot, just sending people out into no man's land or leaving isolated 1v1 angles. So for Oklahoma, they fall to 1-5. They've had some closer series across the year, but obviously there's limited time before we hit those playoffs. So just trying to grind to get better and better every single day. I think it's good that they now have some footage on Akron, can go back, can study, and can learn from this, but they'll definitely have to take this one into the night.
Yeah, I think that's also a great point to think about, is the fact that even though you got a pretty brutal loss, I feel like your flaws as a team very exposed now. It's very obvious what are the things that we need to work on this week in scrims, what are the things that we need to talk about in VOD review, and also just looking at individual performances. What could we have done better? What were the gaps that Akron were showing? Because this is arguably the best team that is in Division 1. I mean, stats-wise, obviously that is true, but also in terms of competition and fundamental, in terms of the macro sense, so you can start to break down the game a little bit more, learn about the game, and improve so you can get a better shot at playoffs.
Well, with playoffs right around the corner, going to be lots of fun to see how the season kind of shapes itself out. And, Rainbow Six not the only season that is approaching into its playoff session. We've got League of Legends tomorrow on Thursday here on both of our main streams. So an opportunity to go hit the follow button here and on all of our brother channels as well. If you come back next week on Wednesday, you'll be able to find some Counter-Strike here on this channel alongside some Rainbow Six the next week after. So stay tuned. Make sure you get involved in all of that. We've got to give a huge thank you out to our broadcast production crew. Rennie is our observer, Time to Light, running all the production and finding all those fun, opportune angles to jump through from that observing. And obviously a huge thank you to all of the players for participating and giving us such a great matchup. But the final result is Akron walks away with a 2-0 dub. That's been T-Van. I've been Llama77. Thank you all so much for watching the NECC, and we'll see ya next time.